Welcome Diecast race fans to Season 1 of the Diecast Peformers Challenge, presented by the Diecast World Series. Week 3 of our 13-week race season showcases and ranks the categories of fastest cars, drivers, teams, also known as builders, owners, or constructors, and driver nations on the best diecast tracks in the world. Points are awarded to each category after every single match and are scored based on field size and importance of the race. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to follow your favorite diecast racers and their performance this season. Last week's weekly award and overall season standings ended up having the Nissan Skyline R34 car built by Ironbeard Customs winning the Top Points Earner of the Week award for the car category. The win launched the Skyline into first place for the overall season in the car category. James Ironbeard also pilots many of his own cars, giving him the win for Week 2 of the Top Points Earner of the Week award for the driver category. With winning the first 2 weeks of the Driver Weekly Awards, he had built a commanding lead for the overall Season Points Championship in the driver category. Numbskull Racing had a busy week at the Mullet River Sprint Track, where they allowed 2 cars per team, giving them the weekly award for the team category. They ended up in second place for the overall Season Points Championship for the team category. Ironbeard Customs put themselves in the lead last week for the overall Season Points Championship for the team category, yet only by 2 points over Lily's Boneyard and Numbskull Racing. The Driver Nation category was postponed last week as Lily the dog was the only driver identifying their nationality. Now that you're caught up with last week's action, let's get it on, race fans. Hey Diecast race fans, I'm Winston Gunner, host of the Diecast Peformers Challenge, coming to you supposedly every Monday from the headquarters of the Diecast World Series. With this being our inaugural season, there are kinks to work out in order to give you the best production possible. Our mission is to develop the sport of professional 1/64 scale diecast racing globally by showcasing global diecast talent, developing rivalries, and crowning overall world champions. We bring to you in-depth profiles of cars, drivers, and teams every week so you can get to know and engage with your favorite diecast racers. Our officials pick qualifying leagues and their tracks that encourage mail-in events or the loaning of their local cars to popular international drivers and their teams. Points are awarded for runoff, qualifier, fractional, and final races based on the number of entries and importance of the race. Points are awarded as shown and are totaled for each entrant every race week, Friday to Thursday, using their top 20 finishes of the season. Only 50% of the race field is eligible for points. This season, the qualifying leagues and their tracks are 3D Botmaker, Bay City Diecast Racing, Chaos Canyon, Commotion Diecast, Diecast Dude Racing, Monster Motorsports, the recently added Mullet River Diecast Racing League, RTR Diecast Racing League, and We Race Diecast. To watch any of the events in this episode, follow the links in the description below. Before we begin this week's results, we have a couple housekeeping items to discuss. Keep sending in your profiles and voting for your weekly favorite diecast racers. Simply go to www.diecastworldseries.com, click on the About tab, and select the appropriate link. A reminder to racers and promoters to start including driver nationalities in your driver profiles, both verbally and graphically. Fans are wanting to root for the respective countries as well. With the housekeeping out of the way, let's get on with the challenge. Week 3 of the inaugural Diecast Peformers Challenge takes you around the globe to Diecast Dude Racing's DAT NASCAR Invitational NASCAR Race Stage 2 at the Brick Mountain Speedway in the US, Monster Motorsports Cars of Legends Diecast Racing Marvel vs. DC Round 1 Group 1 and 2 at the Pacific Rim Speedway in the US, Chaos Canyons Toyota Race Series Round 3 Group 1 and 2 at the Chaos Track in New Zealand, Mullet River Diecast Racing's Formula 1 vs. Station Wagons Round 1 Group 5 at the Mullet River Sprint Track in the US, and in welcoming back to the Diecast racing scene, We Race Diecast Custom NASCAR's Trucks Shootout Group 1 at the Clutch Mountain in the US. This is a busy week in Diecast racing with 72 finishers receiving points. Let's see how your favorite Diecast racer performed. Starting week 3 with the Car Performers category, Top Points Earner of the Week Award. The top 3 positions are all new entries, making for some excitement in the standings. This week's winner of the Weekly Award is the number 20 Chevy Impala from EP Videos. Last week's winner, the Nissan Skyline R34 from Iron Beer Customs, took a week off and didn't have a chance. The number 20 was the winner of Stage 2 at Diecast Dude Racing's DAT NASCAR Invitational NASCAR race hosted by Brick Mountain Speedway. It is now moving on to the next round. A stall at the start of lap 2 caused the number 20 to finish last in that lap.
It's going to be lap 2. Bay City, Montana's going to be the inside. E.P. Lucas stalling at the start. He's going to have some problems back there.
The number 20 won lap 6 after a huge wreck halfway through the race. Number 20's lap 6 win, and with the number 4 stalker from G4 Diecast Racing DNFing, was why it likely won Stage 2.
Correctly, the top 4 are in there. This is just going to be a race for fun as Rubber Toe on the outside, Lucas on the inside. The outside. That outside lane gets a huge boost from the Grey Wizard and Daddy G, and they are lightning quick. And Daddy G turning around the Grey Wizard. Lucas with a lightning fast lap, 10, 5, 4, 2. And that one will be the first one, and Lone Star shows up at the finish line, and no one else. And that's a wrap. Daddy G, he can't make it through turn 4. He gave a huge shot to the Grey Wizard. Those two are having some words. And I see back there is also Rubber Toe. He didn't make it. My goodness. And Bay City, Montana just couldn't quite finish the racing here.
This win will springboard the number 20 into the hunt of the overall season standings. There was also racing at Monster Motorsports' new Cars of Legends Diecast Racing Marvel vs. DC Round 1 Group 1s and 2 with plenty of points up for grabs. Cars Selena Kyle, Boba Fett, and Sully rounded out the top 5 of this week's Performance Challenge.
Cars of Legends Diecast Tournament. This is all about our childhood growing up and the legends we grew up with, whether it was Saturday morning cartoons or comic books, whatever. They were legends all in our own heart back then and still today.
Let's move on to the season overall standings for the car category. Week 3 of the Car Performers category, Overall Season Challenge, has had the top 3 positions in point standings remaining exactly the same as last week. The big change is the amount of new car entries. This week's winner again is the Nissan Skyline R34 built by Iron Beer Customs. It didn't compete at any events this week, so this lead will likely deteriorate in the near future unless they enter some upcoming events. The Mazda RX-7 from Lily's Boneyard and the number 51 Racing Champion car from Doc Speed Shop did not compete either, so it will be interesting to watch the standings next week. We're not sure if any of these teams plan to enter these cars in any future events. If anyone knows their plans or hears of any rumors, please comment below. With 31 entries now in the car category, there's pressure on for the top 3 to get back in the saddle and on the asphalt and earn some points. Let's see how the drivers are shaking things up in the standings. The drivers category Top Points Earner of the Week award had all 5 leagues submit driver names for their races, leading to plenty of action in this category. This week's award winner is a tie between Chicken George of Drivers Racing and Lucas of EP Videos. Both drivers won their rounds with 6-car multi-lap fields, scoring them lots of points. Lucas was piloting the number 22 Impala and won the DAT NASCAR Invitational NASCAR race as stated in the car segment. Chicken George was at Mullet River's Diecast Racing League's Formula 1 versus Station Wagons Round 1 Group 5 event at the Mullet River Sprint Track. Chicken George had a fast 6th lap with lots of action behind him.
This is the start of lap 6. Boba takes him down, George challenging right away. There's Napoleon challenging for second, gets it, spins. George will take the lap. Napoleon just flipped over on his way to the finish line.
Chicken George will be moving on next week. It's too bad Chicken George didn't declare a car name. Otherwise, he would have shot up in the points of the car category. Compared to last week, the weekly award results are in stark comparison, keeping it very exciting. Third place this week was also a tie between Daddy G of G4 Diecast Racing and Papa Pugsley of Manchild Motorsports. Papa Pugsley at the Cars of Legends race at Brick Mountain Speedway won 3 out of 4 laps and only managed a tie for first with the Crazy Canuck due to a DNF in lap 4. Let's see how Chicken George's consistent racing schedule is translating to the season overall point standings. James Ironbeard is still hanging on to the season overall points lead in the drivers category. His early dominance in season 1 is eroding as he took a week off during a busy race week. Last week he enjoyed an 18-point lead over Lily the dog, and now he only leads by 8 points over Arlo, who had a busy week. Arlo went from 3rd to 2nd with an 18-point gain to surpass Lily the dog for 2nd, who also did not compete this week in any Diecast Performer Challenge Series events. Arlo raced his Boba Fett at Monster Motorsports Marvel vs. DC event with 2 firsts and a 2nd, giving him the spike in points. He is scheduled for a busy week coming up, so keep an eye on him in the standings. Chicken George has moved up from 12 to 32 points this week overall, putting him in a tie with Lily the dog for 3rd. A tie for 5th with Cam Jackman racing for Team Chaos, and Grey Wizard of Golden Owl Racing will surely put some pressure on the top 3 next week. Let's see which teams are in action fighting for the Team Top Points Earner of the Week award. This week, the team category Top Points Earner of the Week award has 16 qualifying entries for a season total of 26 now. We are excited to see this category consistently growing. Teams and builders are the backbone of the sport. The new winner of the Team Top Points Earner of the Week award goes to Devers Racing. Devers entered 2 unknown cars this week, driven by Chicken George and Nick Devers at the Mullet River Sprint Track, competing in the F1 vs. Station Wagons Round 1 Group 5 event. They took home 4 firsts and 2 seconds for the overall Round 1 Group 4 team win at the event. Nick Devers won 2 races, and Chicken George came in 1st and 2nd twice. Solid effort by these boys.
Chicken George gets that hole shot, but you look in the back of the pack, Mrs. Brady gets off the track, flips and slides on her side, will eventually go completely upside down. You can see here in the Phil Collins corner, almost off the track. Everybody gets by and everybody else finishes.
The Mullet River Sprint Track seems to be an excellent track to earn a lot of points in a short amount of time due to the 2-car team structure if you have a competitive team. Bent Rod Racing, with drivers Miss Brady and Boba Bent, came in 2nd, 10 points back of Devers at the same event. Manchild Motorsports has come out of nowhere, placing in the top 5. Their Selena Kyle entry at the Cars of Legends race gave them 3 wins for the points boost. I have a feeling with all this action this week, there may be a dethroning of the team's overall season leader. 6 points separates 1st and 2nd place in the overall season point challenge. And guess what? We have a new leader. This season's leader is now Arlo Racing. They have entered 3 cars since week 1 to take 1st place from Silent Ironbeard Customs. Consistent entries and placing the top 3 at local events has rewarded Arlo with season 1 bragging rights so far. Ironbeard Customs has fallen 6 points back from Arlo Racing to 2nd place, yet is by no means out of the picture. Devers Racing is in a 3-way tie for 3rd and is only 4 points back of Ironbeard Customs and has races still to come with the Mullet River Diecast Racing League's F1 Station Wagons event. Lily's Boneyard and Numbskull are also tied for third. Golden Owl is at 30 points, 12 points back from first, and can still easily make up that ground in a week. This is the most competitive category with the biggest bragging rights in our opinion, so stay tuned. I bet there will be another lead change if Devers puts in a good showing at the F1 vs Station Wagons event next week. And lastly, let's talk about the Driver Nation Challenge. This week, we did have a Canadian driver identify himself, the Crazy Canuck. He has not been running well this season compared to other seasons until now. Still, there is not enough data to warrant an official nation challenge. We will keep tabulating the data as teams and promoters are starting to get the message and include driver nationality into their programs. We've also decided that when profiles are sent to us, the drivers who have already competed in the past weeks will have their nationality updated. This will automatically update the previous nation standings and will not impact individual points. Diecast Racers, if you want to get your drivers on the Nation Challenge, you can head on over to our YouTube page at www.diecastworldseries.com, select the About tab, and click on Submit a Diecast Profile. That concludes the Diecast Peformers Challenge standings update for Week 3. The Diecast Peformers Challenge is shaping up to be a cutthroat event where every point matters for those overall bragging rights. The rivalries are building and every position in every category is up for grabs. Racers need to be thinking strategically regarding what races to enter and when. Now that everyone knows where their favorite diecast entries rank globally, let's check out the best of the best action this week. At the Diecast World Series, part of our mission is to showcase the top racers and their events. Here are the best races of the week. At the F1 vs Station Wagons event by Mullet River, Chicken George tries to roll over Napoleon the dog and he recovers for third.
Here is Napoleon taking him on down, Boba pressing, trying to get that whole shot. Napoleon goes on his side and somehow recovers.
At the DAT NASCAR Invitational NASCAR race by Diecast Dude Racing, Rubber Toe led one of the fastest and smoothest races we have seen in ages.
Will be Lone Star on the inside and the Rubber Toe on the outside. They're down and away, and they are staying together as a pack through the divided 180. They're through the chicanes and into the open track and down into turn 3 in a hurry. Rubber Toe in the lead. Rubber Toe winning lap number 1 with an 11.013. They get it all jumbled up down there in the tunnel.
This is why we love Diecast Racing. From the same event, Daddy G gave a few too many beans coming out of turn 2 to spin out into a 180 while still finishing in first.
The Great Wizard with the lead as they hit the open track. Daddy G hit the gas, and Daddy G had too much gas. He turned himself around, and it was his own fault, but he makes it in reverse. As you see, Great Wizard almost getting past him. Lucas right there is.
Back at the Mullet River track, this week's team award winner, Nick Devers from Devers Racing, performed a miracle. He was lightly pit maneuvered off the track onto the grass and was able to 4x4 his Indy car back onto the racetrack. What incredible driving.
Going through the carousel here, if you watch Chicken George, he's going to put Boba Ben's back wheel off the track. That's going to spin him around going down the hill. Napoleon sees the open door to try to go for second place. Meanwhile, towards the back, Nick Devers takes a dive right off the track and spins and somehow gets back on the track. Check this out. Talk about hanging 10 in the hang 10 corner. Gets back on and keeps rolling.
We are very excited to see the return of We Race Diecast. Their custom NASCAR truck shootout was full of action. The number 22 truck in the lead flips on its side, recovers, and wins. Now for a short science lesson. Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. At some point, fast, clean racing will turn into a disaster. Time to slow down, stare at accidents, and be humbled that you are not being featured on the Top Wrecks of the Week segment. Dat NASCAR Invitational NASCAR race, Daddy G turns the Grey Wizard around after turn 2, and rubbing ensues all the way to the finish line to cause a huge wreck.
Daddy G trying to get down to the finish line. He turns the Grey Wizard around and they're nose to nose. And the Grey Wizard cuts down onto, oh my goodness, and it is calamity at the finish line. All I know is the Grey Wizard finished first.
At the Cars of Legends Diecast Racing, Marvel vs. DC from Pacific Rim Speedway, Mickey Mouse flips onto the safety fence and continues on to regain second.
Check out the replay. Wonder Woman gets the whole shot, but Mickey is right there on her tail, following her around the helipad, all the drivers in single file line, and Mickey Mouse gets wide and lands on the safety fence, does 360, but somehow ends up on his wheels and keeps going. But as end count in that Captain America car tries to get around, he ends up rolling under gate 5, and Captain America comes to a stop.
During the same event, all 4 cars crash, causing a race rerun.
And Selena Kyle tries to break on through, but did not have the proper line to get around that tow truck.
Now from the Toyota Race Series at Chaos Canyon's Canyon Track, Lone Star goes off the track at the jump and into the crowd.
Well, the pins drop and they get underway, and Dr. Cox gets the jump on the field, but Lone Star reeling him in, gets into the lead, and he goes off! He's crashed into the crowd. There's absolute pandemonium. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is tragic. I hope the food trucks are okay. There are just bodies strewn everywhere. We better go back and have a look at the replay. So, Lone Star just drifts wide, slams into the back of the C10, that then plows down a bunch of people, and he almost knocked the Toyota Celica onto the track. You just really hate to see an accident like that. Totally. Should we watch it again? Oh, you know it. Look at Lone Star there, just bounces off the side of the track. I don't even know where he was thinking he was going. He must have been aiming to cut out Kahuna Corner entirely. That is certainly one of the gnarlier accidents we've had for quite some time. You can see Dave from Dave's Nut Shack standing at the back of that Land Cruiser there. Luckily that saved him, but a lot of the others not so lucky.
We haven't had an update regarding injuries. And from the We Race Diecast Custom NASCAR Truck Shootout at Clutch Mountain, the 22 truck leads the whole way and spins out at the end to be overtaken. Those were some disturbing and frustrating wrecks. Now it's time for the fans to decide Fan Favorite Awards. Every week from Friday to Thursday, fans of Diecast Racing can vote for their favorite cars, drivers, and teams. This week's fan favorite car is the Mazda RX-7 built by Lily's Boneyard. The fan favorite driver for 2 weeks in a row is Lily the dog. And the fan favorite team is Lily's Boneyard. I think after this week there will be some changes to the ranking with all the exciting racing we had. If you want to vote for your favorite Diecast Peformers this and every other week, head to our YouTube page, select the About tab, and click on the Vote for Your Favorite Diecast Racers link. You can also find the link down below in the description. It only takes 1 minute to vote. The Diecast World Series helps to promote cars, drivers, and teams, also known as owners or builders. This will help expand Diecast Racing as a whole. Did your car, driver, or team get mentioned in this episode and not much information was available? Head on over to the www.diecastworldseries.com, which directs you to our YouTube page. Select the About tab and click on Submit a Diecast Profile and choose what category of profile you want to upload. There's also a direct link down below in the description called Upload a Diecast Profile. Thanks for watching the Diecast Peformers Challenge, presented by the Diecast World Series. Hopefully, your favorite Diecast challengers were in action. Make sure you tune in every Monday during the 13-week season to recap the Friday through Thursday's race week. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comments section of this video and we will respond. Join the conversation in the comments section regarding your favorite cars, drivers, and teams. Also, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the latest news and information about the top competitors in professional diecast racing. Until next week, remember, Friends don't let friends collect diecast cars that can't be raced.